Y'all, this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it just felt diabolical to me. So we're gonna break down exactly what went down in this episode. Y'all, I think I'm at a loss, actually. I'm a little bit at a loss thinking about all of the revelations from this episode. When you really, really pay attention to it, you're going to understand exactly why I feel so discombobulated. Okay. And as much as I know that you guys just cannot stand Shamia, I can't understand for the life of me how y'all are okay with all of this that we're going to go over. Okay. Now, I have a thing for the underdog. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Like, I do not like when I see a whole group of people against one person because after a while, it just doesn't feel like a fair fight. And it's because it's been happening so much on this show. For me, it's a frustrating watch at this point. And then when I also recognize that not only do the girls not really care for this woman, but the fans don't either. It makes me go a little bit deeper into dissecting why there is such disdain for this woman that even when she is blatantly done wrong, no one has her side. No one is advocating for her. No one has her back, and everyone has turned against her. Okay. So for me, I think I'm super frustrated with Angela because I never quite got the pure disdain or distaste for Shamia from Angela. Yeah, I know they've had their tats, their tits and tats and all of that good stuff. But I just kind of feel like right now it's just going above and beyond. So let's dive into it. Shout out to everybody who is in the chat just now. I appreciate you. And subscribe to the channel and like this video if you haven't already done so. We're going to be diving into Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 13, Kilts, Chaos, and Reeds. The ladies barely touched down in Scotland before the Bailey Bowl drama starts unpacking itself. So I want to start there. That's the description. I want to start with the description because I feel like before we can get to Scotland, we need to discuss what happened last week really quickly so we can understand why, for me, I'm just literally I'm not in shock. It was in the back of my mind, and it was in right in front of us the entire time. What happened last week? Last week when Angela confronted Shamia again, okay, about the Atlanta Hawks and Falcons players' allegations. They were going around, and then, people were chiming in. And one of the things that was brought up was by Pinky. Pinky brought up what K. Michelle had told her about how Shamia made her feel uncomfortable when they were together because Shamia kept, according to Kay, bringing up the fact that my friends don't want me to be friends with you. Now, those friends being the Candy Coated Nights girls, right? Okay, that would be likely Candy, Rakshida, and Toya and the gang. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, K. Michelle told Pinky this in private. Pinky, what we know now based on this episode, went back and told the group. Now, when I look at that action by Pinky, it explains to me now why when Pinky asked in front of the group, Shamia and K. Michelle, are y'all good? Shamia's looking like confused, like, what? And K. Michelle's like, yeah, we're good. Now, K. Michelle tells us she doesn't want to pile on to the Shamia train while everybody else was having their shot at her, right? So it explains to me now why the rest of the group is nodding their hands. Cynthia Bailey. I sense some energy between K. Michelle and Shamia. Portia. All the girls are not Angela. Are nodding their heads. It makes so much sense now because Pinky has gone back and told them the issue before K. Michelle has even had an opportunity to hash it out with Shamia. So not only, Pinky, did you betray the trust of K. Michelle, who already don't trust the group and think the people out to get her, okay? Now you haven't even given Shamia the opportunity to even have a moment to even understand what K. Michelle's issue actually is. So you went and told the people she does not get along with, okay? Portia ain't really talking to Shamia like that. She don't really F with her like that. Angela knows this information now. Cynthia, which is crazy work to me, because Cynthia will later on, when they get to Scotland, tell Shamia, girl, I feel like you are the reason for the division in the group, because it is you that when you have an issue with the girls, if you have an issue with the girls, everybody on that side of the table will have an issue with the girls too. So you control the key to the group being back together. I said, Cynthia, you sound crazy right now. You sound absolutely crazy in this moment, because you already know that there is an issue with K. Michelle and Shamia. So if that were true, then there would be no issue there. So that is in and of itself, because you know already that there's this issue, and it's supposed to be made to seem as if you don't. For you to say that then is wild. And I feel like I never would have expected that from Cynthia. Like, really, girl? Like, you too? Like, it does. This is why when you watch it back, when you really watch this episode back and you think about what happened last week, and now you think about what's happening this week, girl, come on now. Come on, Cynthia. Cheekbones. Let's be for real. Let's be for real now. Okay? The next thing that we got to talk about is, now the girls do get to, now I want you to keep all of that in mind. Keep in mind, everybody know about this issue. Okay, except Shamia. Because later on, Portia's going to take credit for this, for bringing K. Michelle and Shamia back together. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because Pinky has apparently gotten some advice, and in exchange, Portia is supposed to be working on bringing Drew and K. Michelle back together, you know, doing the good of the group. So if it is up to Portia and Pinky to bring the group together, why would Cynthia tell Shamia it is her who has the power over the rest of the girls? Make that make sense for me. Cynthia, make it make sense for me. I'm not understanding your logic here. I don't quite get it. If you could help me explain it to me a bit more, I would perhaps really like it if you could just tell me. I mean, like, what were you thinking in that moment, Cynthia Bailey? What in the world? Meanwhile, I guess her go naked wig was just a little bit tight at that moment. I don't really know, but I'm just like, come on, make that make sense. Now, if Cynthia said, if Portia and Shamia got back together, then there may be a little less division in the group. Then if she said that, then I would totally 100% agree with what she was saying. But Cynthia, you are not doing the balancing here, okay? You're not helping the situation at all, all right? So we get to Scotland. The girls split up in their vans, and I'm excited about this trip to Scotland because I've never been to Scotland personally. So I want to see what it gives, and I feel like they'll give us a bit of a different perspective than what we get on like the Traders. So I'm excited about that, right? You know, and the girls look good. Everybody looks good as they're headed out on their trip, you know, and I love that. This is the aspect of the show that I love. But then when they get in the car, things start to kind of go off the rails a little bit with their individual conversations. And as the group gets to the house or the castle, Portia and Phaedra go off on their own to take a tour to see the bedrooms. Now, I got an issue with Phaedra too, okay? I got an issue with Phaedra too. And for that issue, I'm going to talk about it right now. If you really watch this episode and you watch it good, there's a man named George that comes up. Now, George is is allegedly Mr. Crash for Cash, something like that. Now, later on, Shamia will be accused of sleeping with Mr. George, okay? Mr. George is brought up again by Phaedra and is saying, accusing me of Mr. George And I'm like, accusing you. And then the camera flashes back to Kenya Moore confronting Phaedra about Mr. Chocolate. So my question is Mr. Chocolate actually Mr. George, aka Mr. Crash for Cash? Are they indeed one and the same? Because I feel like back in the day, the people were saying that Mr. Chocolate was Jamal Bryant. That was the allegation back in the day. That's what the people were saying. So I was like, is this who y'all was talking about the entire time? Has Mr. Crash for Cash been embedded in the fabric of this very show for over a decade and we not even know about it? What? Per quad? Like what? The other thing that we noticed that we get from Phaedra is very much all about in this episode. One, let's put the women in the rooms that have the most chaos with each other. Two, she wants Angela to spill all of Shamia's tea. She pretty much says it. Tell it all. Tell all of it, right? And I can't tell if she's just encouraging Angela to tell everything that she knows versus tiptoeing and tap dancing around whatever information she has is. Or if she just really wants her to lay all Shamia's business out there. Yeah, girl, lay it out there because guess what? I'm sure she knows. Just like how everybody else knew about the K Michelle versus Shamia issue, I am quite sure everybody else knows at this point in time exactly what it is that Angela has on Shamia. I'm sure. I am quite sure about it. Watch the episode. Watch everybody's faces. Watch what happens. Okay, so then for me, with Phaedra will later on say, after everything has come out, okay? After everything that Phaedra witnesses in this episode, after basically saying that Angela is what Angela is saying is baloney, the only thing that she can give for Shamia is kids should be off limits. So it takes me back for Phaedra to Married to Medicine. When those girls brought back Apollo, okay? When those girls was taking you through there, when those girls was giving you the business, it was, oh, I need to leave from being around these mean girls. Okay? And we had your back, or at least I did, because I was like, yeah, they definitely doing you. They definitely getting at you, girl. So now it's crazy to see in your confessional, you're basically calling Angela a liar, or at least not calling her a liar. Let me phrase that differently. You are saying her story is baloney. Okay, to use your words. So if you know this, then no one at the table is gonna say any of this to Angela. The only point of critique that you have is for Shamia. Girl, you shouldn't know. Ain't no kids, and nope, don't do nothing about the kids. So everything that happened with Angela was cool. Okay. Got it. Okay. So what this tells me about this group, now that I'm really analyzing it is okay for certain people to take certain actions, but it is not okay for a different type of person to take those certain actions. Why is that? I'm trying not to look too deep into this because it's going to really, really annoy me and frustrate me. But when I really start to dig deeper in it, I feel like there are some factors here that I think are coming into play that I just don't really, I can't go down that road. So I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Why is it okay for all of this to happen, but not for that? All right, cool. But we're gonna get to the this and that in just 1 second. So walk with me. Now, the major points of this episode happen around this. The Portia and Phaedra are taking a tour of the entire castle, and they're determining the bedrooms, or they're at least looking through them. Meanwhile, the rest of the girls are seated at the table in the castle, and they're, I don't know, maybe having some snacks or whatever. And Kelly ends up talking about why it's hard for her to be vulnerable around the group because she feels like it will come back to haunt her. Angela feels like, well, she is the only person in the group who is actually on her own. And I'm like, I think Kelly and Shamir are both looking at her like, what, girl? You have Drew who backs you up all the time as well, right? And so that turns into, well, Kelly says, well, I actually kick the dude out that was talking about you from last year's event. But Angela's like, well, no, y'all were basically saying that I made this whole thing up. So then it spirals again between Angela and Shamia. Okay. So Angela, for her part, is like, yeah, I mean, y'all think that I made this thing up, essentially. And I get it. I get it. Because after all was said and done, Angela, you were looking a little crazy after that. You were. Now, I don't know if the people was driving you crazy with the information that they was bringing you, but you were not looking in the best light by the time the reunion came. We was all questioning, girl, what is really going on? We were. Because why would Phaedra do this? But, I mean, I guess the question could be right now, why not? Right? Good TV? I don't know. Who's doing that? I don't know. So that spirals into Shamia wanting to know, girl, why are you investigating me? Okay? Because apparently the streets are talking and they're getting back to Shamia exactly what it is that you are doing in your neighborhood with your neighbors asking about me. So it has gotten back to Shamia per either Mr. Cash himself or Ashley, as the text messages right here imply, and this was a screenshot taken from Reality Entertainment TV, that is why it's on the screen, betwixt Shamia and is her name Ashley? I think her name is Ashley. That's Mr. Cash the Craft's wife, okay? Her, all right? So it's Shamia and the woman here in the text exchange. And as you can see on the screen, apparently, this is what happened. I'm going to give you the shorthand version, okay? Allegedly, Angela has gone around to the people that she and both Shamia knows, or at least that Shamia may know, or that she's seen in Shamia's company. And because they are neighbors or in the community together, Angela admits to asking, is it okay if Shamia's name comes up? Why would her name come up, right? But according to the woman on the phone, the text message, the wife, it is that Angela is asking for dirt on Shamia because she wants to utilize that information against her. So what Angela does next is she implies that Mr. Crash for Cash told her that Shamia looked so good that she had to pay him, that he had to pay her. So you're now from that conversation, Angela is stating that, oh, that means that you effed Mr. George, aka Mr. Crash for Cash, even though you are going to take your kids around their house for a play date. For play dates. That's what you're going to do. So you're going to basically accuse this man, okay, who is your married neighbor, of paying her and also doing his business with her. That's what you're going to do on the national TV. Now, there's another thread where Shamia tells Ashley, I guess that's her name, everything that went on at that lunch. And that Angela apparently said, and I didn't screenshot this one, but if you slow it down, you can see it when the screenshots come up on the screen. That Angela says, oh, well, she's just trying to get on the show. That was the reason. But girl, like, how, okay, so if that lady is trying to get on the show, that might be the case. I don't really know. But even if she was trying to get on the show, why would you tell the world that her man is paying Shamia and then bumping and grinding with her and getting special favors too? Like, how does this make sense in this moment for Angela and her neighbors? How does this make sense for you and your neighbors? How? That's number one. I don't get it. You would burn these other people's houses down just to get a Shamia. To me, that is very dangerous. That is dangerous activity. Okay? It's dangerous activity. And it is what makes these shows sometimes so frustrating, because it's like, why would you do that? And the fact of the matter is, I can guarantee you, I can probably throw a rock and hit 10 people she told. If you think about it. All right? Because when it comes back up later on, in the beginning when it comes up, Portia sits down at the table and she says, well, ain't he married? And Shamia says, y'all both can stop looking with y'all googly eyes or whatever like that. And Portia says something like, don't put me in it or something like that. And I'm like, just like with last week, I had to wonder, did y'all already know this? I wondered it last week. Did they know about the K. Michelle and Shamia thing? And it was confirmed this week that they did. So I would also have to wonder about this too, right? Now I'm starting to see like the little looks that the producers are catching. Like, is there more to these things than what we are being led to believe in the actual episode as it happens? I don't know. All I'm telling you is what I'm seeing, and all I'm telling you is what's happening. Okay. Two and two don't always equal four, and I'm gonna go ahead and admit that. But I'm just taking some educated guesses here now that I'm watching the episodes a bit more closely. Okay. So that argument continues and it spills over into Shamia's room, and Angela's right down the hallway. Angela overhears Shamia sharing about these text messages with Kelly and Pinky. And she's outside. Like, if you come outside, remember last week I told y'all about the girls in high school and how they would jump the girl? They would always jump the one girl. In my mind, it was given the same energy. Come outside the room, step outside. I was like, it was like just like high school all over again. They waiting for her outside of class. They waiting for the girl outside the room. They waiting for the girl. And it's like, okay, listen, Angela, I get it. You got a bone to pick with her and you are not going to let it go. But it's bad when Portia has to go into Shamia's room, find out what's going on, then go into Angela's room and tell Angela, let's stop it. Angela, nope, not going to let the bone go. I'm calling Ashley. She gets Ashley on the phone and basically confirms, girl, you were asking me for information about Shamia and I told you I wanted to remain mutual. Now, I'm thinking she meant neutral, but I don't know. Maybe she meant I want to know y'all mutually. I don't know. But all I know is the closed caption said mutual. So I'm watching that, and it still does not seem to dawn on Phaedra or Portia that this story that Angela is telling does not make any sense. No one says to her, girl, are you being truthful with us right now? Like, nobody is saying it. So they just let it go. I'm like, now, if the opposite were true and this were Shamia doing this, do you know that woman would not have a hair follicle on her head left because them and y'all would be dragging her even harder than you're dragging her right now? That's crazy to me. So that's why later on when it comes up again and Phaedra says, oh, kids are off limits, but marriages are fine. I mean, because, these people sign up for it. Y'all know what y'all getting when y'all sign up for this. Y'all know what it is. And you can take out Mr. Chocolate or Mr. Cat Crash for Cash and his wife too. Just take them all out. It's all fine. It's all good. It's TV, right? Meanwhile, the girls get ready for dinner, okay? And the girls are sectioned off, and Pinky is riding with Shamia and K. Michelle. Now, Shamia feels like, okay, even though I've addressed this one issue, I've had to defend myself. I've shown y'all screenshots. There've been phone conversations had, and nobody's still gonna have her back. Okay, cool. She says Angela's gonna come up with something else, and sure enough, Angela is in the car. She also said something to my daughter, and I said it last week. I said, Shamia, you shouldn't have done that because that to me, like, even though the daughter is grown and even though it was sarcastic, it's just, I know that the child thing is going to come back up. And so I'm like, you just should never do that. Don't even speak to this woman. Like, don't speak to anyone's child that you are not getting along with if it ain't a hello and a goodbye. Okay. Period. Now, what happens on the way over is that Shamia, Pinky, and K. Michelle arrive first. And so the issue is brought up about what happened between K. Michelle and with Shamia. Now, Shamia feels as though, hey, Kay, if you're bringing them up, it does put me in an odd position when I have to defend my friends. For K. Michelle, she feels like Shamia is bringing this up even when K. Michelle isn't bringing it up. No, I don't know who to believe. But what I'm going to say is this. Shamia, if you are in this weird situation with K Michelle and with Candy and the Candy Coated Nights girls, then you probably should just maybe not be so close with K Michelle. And I know that's gonna sound childish. Okay, hear me out when I say this, but I have to be real with y'all when I say it. The reason I say this is because K Michelle is very sensitive. All right, and based on the fact that she already thinks that the people on the show are out to get her, she is now at any when you if you continue to mention the Candy Coated Rashida gang, she is always going to be on a defense, even if she is bringing them up. Okay. You are still going to be put in a weird position. So, in order for you to stay out of that position, it may be best to keep your friendship with K Michelle at a distance, especially while K Michelle has not revealed exactly who it is that told her that the people were coming for her and they were chasing her in the shadows and that they're out to get her. Okay. K Michelle is very sensitive right now. And I'm not saying that you should not be friends with her at all. I'm saying put a little distance in between y'all, because at the end of the day, that friendship, that group that you have had is going to be much more worth the one that you are trying to build and establish. And I hate to say it this way, but if those girls have been around you for years and K Michelle is just new girl on the block energy on the same show as you, I suggest having a work relationship. What do I mean by work relationship? I tell people all the time, do not tell them people at your job anything about your personal life. I tell this to my friends, okay, that have corporate jobs. Whoever, well, I don't know where, I don't care where it is. Do not tell them people your personal business. You might have one or two good Judys or people out of that job. But baby, let me tell you something. When ish hits the fan at your job, that person, it can be tested real easily. And you want to know that you ain't giving that person that much information to turn around and use it to either get your position, okay, or to know more than they should know about what your home life is like. Okay? I've always been like that. I've always told people that. Do not get that close to them people on your job. Just don't do it. Period. That's just me. Okay? Y'all might call some people might say it's a trust thing. I say it's a CYA thing. Cover your behind and watch it. All right? Now, and you just got to ask yourself, K got a lot going on, okay? And you probably need to, you got a lot going on too. So you probably just need to just say, hey girl, listen, I'm here for you if you need me. But because what you will get from Kay in her confessionals about Shamia is a lot of sarcasm. And I feel like I never get that from Shamia with regards to Kay. So I think, Shamia, you need to watch this season back and you need to start understanding that I don't think that's your real friend. Okay? Period. And I like K Michelle. But until she solves the mystery and reveals who is the person under the Scooby-Doo mask, you need to keep your distance. Okay? And K Michelle, you do need to tell us who said that at some point. Because I'm still, you know. So anyway, the girls come to dinner. It's some conversation about, obviously we have to revisit the Mr. Crash for Cash of it all. Everybody at the table is sitting around like, well, yeah, she, in their confessionals, Angela probably didn't tell the truth about that one. Oh no. But oh well, it's Shamia, so who cares? It almost feels like they treat her as less than a real person. That's the impression that I get. And I think that's what I don't like. That's what offends me so much about this is they treat her like she is not even like worthy of their sympathy. And it's interesting how much sympathy Kelly gets at the end of this episode, juxtaposed to what Shamia has been through in this episode and what they actually give to her. I thought that was interesting. But let's back it up, okay? So, with regards to, it's asked whether or not K. Michelle and Shamia have resolved their issues, and K. Michelle, I don't understand. Again, K. Michelle, if you don't answer to nobody, I wouldn't have answered that question. I would have simply said, me and Shamia are good, and we're always going to be good. Period. That's the end of it. I would have deaded it. I wouldn't have given that whole dissertation answer. Yes, well, friendships go through things, and we have to just, go through the fire and the flames. And girl, you have to remember, we got to keep up this thing. We got to keep up this mentality that somebody's out to get you. So, girl, don't give these people too much. If you genuinely feel like they're out to get you, you are not going to explain yourself to these people. Because don't you feel like they're out to get you? Aren't there monsters under the bed? Like, we got to keep this thing going. Okay? Don't be giving all of that. Like, you got to protect some friendships on this show. Some things have to remain sacred. You will not see, most likely, you will not see Portia and Phaedra spilling each other's tea. Not like that, really. You're just not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. Why? Because they understand this game. They understand it. They understand how Housewives works. You got to have at least somebody that's going to rock with you. You do. Somebody. So, okay, Michelle. So Portia says, well, I'll take credit for this. And I'm like, why are you more invested in Shamia and K. Michelle than you are with your own friendship with Shamia? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. Okay, whatever. It's her prerogative at this point. She can choose who to exchange energies with or not. But Portia's job, as per her deal with Pinky, because Pinky says, well, girl, did you hold up your end of the bargain? Portia's job was to get Drew and K. Michelle back together, but she had not had an opportunity. At this moment, does it dawn on Cheekbones that it is not indeed Shamia who is in control of this group? I want to know, in this moment, Cheekbones, Cynthia Bailey, what else is going on, Bailey? Does it dawn on you in this moment, at least, that maybe it is not indeed Shamia who has ultimate power over the board on this show? That woman can't get nobody together because she can't get it together. She is off. Shamia is off the ledge on this show, falling, literally just falling. And you gonna tell her she got control over the group? That's buck wild to me. It's just and you know what makes it crazy is that it was Cynthia who said it. I think if maybe somebody else had said it, I would think that they were a little bit like Delulu. But because it was Cynthia, whom I typically trust her thought processes, I'm like, am I watching? I must be in the Twilight Zone, or am I being gaslit right now? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I know some people gonna say, well, you biased. I sometimes listen. I get it. I don't like when somebody who is the underdog is just constantly like being ran over by the entire group. I don't like it. I don't. It's not fun to watch. Even though the rest of the ladies are fun. Does that make sense? Like Portia and Phaedra are fun. Cynthia is fun, right? Angela is fun when she's not in this spiral with Shamia. Angela is at her best when her shade is lighthearted, it's quick. But this digging up of information, trying to find out the dirt and the details, we've seen this happen on so many shows. I've been down this road with Jersey Girls. We've been down this road with the Potomac Girls. It never ends up well. The fans end up divided, and then next thing you know, the show is paused. Okay, so don't go down this road. It's not a fun road for anybody. It does not become fun either. It may be attention grabbing now and headline grabbing now, but I guarantee you it creates a level of toxicity that you do not want associated with your show. Okay? Trust me, we have seen it. We've seen it. Trying to tell you what I know. Basketball wife type of time. That's what it's, it's giving that type of energy. And y'all know how we felt about that. I don't know. Meanwhile, so dinner ends, all right, with the notion, well, the ladies do talk about another moment. The ladies talk about who didn't kiss the girl and liked it. Who's dipped in their toes in the lady pond. It turns out that Pinky has had a relationship with a woman for 3 years. Phaedra lets us know behind the scenes that she's always thought that Pinky was of the lady pond variety. I will say this, Pinky, and please don't be offended by this. Pinky does, I believe everybody has elements of masculinity and femininity in them, right? And I think that people look at that. I know for a lot of men, they may look at that as a knock against them. It's a little bit easier for a lot of times gay men to accept the masculine and feminine energy. And I think sometimes for from what I understand, for women, they don't really, a lot of women don't want to have to tap into that masculine aspect of themselves because they feel like it makes them a little bit harder and have a harder edge, and they want to remain in their softness. And I totally understand that. I totally get it. With that being said, I do think that Pinky is unafraid to lean into the masculine energy, into her any masculine energy that she may have, and it could have been by way of things that she experienced in life growing up, her business. You just never know. So even when she said it, I was like, I could see that. I could totally see that. I could see her in a relationship with a woman. I really could. Um, a lot of them are very open about their experiences, which I thought was super healthy, healthy conversations that you may not have seen on these types of shows years ago. So I really enjoyed that they embraced this level of conversation. Except for Drew, who there's 2 points of contention. There's one for Drew and there's one for Shamia, because Drew indicates that she really could not be with a woman, but I think that the whole tie of it all would beg to differ. Even though nothing was really ever officially confirmed by Ty, we heard more about this from Mimi Faust, another Love and Hip Hop girl. I think that Mimi Faust might beg to differ about what her experience has been of Drew and another woman, but we cannot confirm or deny that, so we just leave it be, okay? Even though I think that Ty is hot tamale, and Drew, y'all would have looked good together, and that could have been your storyline. But I do get that she was still going through a divorce, so we want to leave that where it was, because I would not personally want that to impact anything that she had going on, because I do want Drew to come out on top. The thing with Shamia is brought up by Drew. Shamia, didn't you kiss Candy? Here we go again. Yet another person mentioning Candy who was not on the show this season. That Candy lives on in this show, and Candy, I would be interested now in bringing Candy back. Okay, while you've got K Michelle here, while you've got Drew talking here, while you've got the accusation that Candy and Shamia kissed from Portia, and Shamia is basically saying, "I did not kiss Candy in the club." While you got all that going on, let's bring Candy right on back. Let's bring it back, Phaedra. Let's really, if you want to, like, y'all want to have some fun now, let's bring Candy back, because she keeps being mentioned. Okay, Angela, Drew, Portia mentioned her. Let's go ahead and bring her back. K. Michelle, you mentioned her too. You mentioned the candy coated clip. Bring her back. Let's really shake the table on them. Y'all really want to have a show. Let's really give it a show. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. So, at that point, Portia has to check, go naked number one. Girl, you're doing too much right now. We were having a good time and you are ruining my mood. Okay. And of course, Drew just kind of shuts down. And again, I think to myself, cheekbones, is Shamia still running the group? I'm just doing a temperature check. Meanwhile, let's go back. So the girls head back to the castle, Chateau Scotland. And so they convene in somebody's room. I don't know who it is. It might be Portia's room. It's Go Nakeds and Phaedra and Portia. And they're talking, and Drew brings up a headline concerning Kelly and this $2 million lawsuit that her ex-husband is about to level against her. So I think they text her and they summon her to the room. Okay. They summon her and she comes in and they ask her, "Hey girl, are you okay? Can we put you in a sister circle route real quick and just understand what your problems are? Tell us everything, And I'm like, oh God, Kelly. But I will say I liked this moment. I for everything that happened in the episode, I like this moment for Kelly because she has had so much issues with some of the group. And I just felt like this was the moment that we needed of catharsis. Like, anytime you have a beef between two people and it extends and it never gets resolved, it is like having relations and never having an O moment. Okay? That's what it feels like. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all today. I don't mentally have the capacity to even keep things politically correct today because I am tired. I have been traveling for the past 4 or 5 days. Even though there were points where I was at home, I still had to leave and go back out to another city or a state. It's been like that. So I don't have the capacity to take things any lighter today, and I'm sorry or apologize in advance for anybody who may be offended by anything that I'm saying in this video, but I just don't have it. So anyway, Kelly is basically giving everybody the goods on her story, and there are some tears. And her and Portia do have a moment for which Kelly apologizes for anything that she has said about her. I did notice that Portia did not apologize for what she said. So I'm like, Kelly, girl, you that accusation still lives on. You and the married pastor Nigerian who is a client of Phaedra's, I would have been up in that room asking who it is. Okay? Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Okay? That should be you. But instead, she's crying in Chanel. Cool. I get it. I really like this moment. I really, really, really like this moment. I really, truly like this moment because we also saw in this moment Drew become emotional. Everybody, even Phaedra, I mean, they have some emotion. I guess my problem with this scene is that, and I really like this for Drew because, it's not often that we get to see Drew have a moment of like just genuine like vulnerability like this. And I think to myself, this is the Drew that I want to see. I really want to know, Drew, how are you handling all of this? Because it has to be tough. And just to be able to see Drew break the sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of a maybe I don't want to call it a facade. Maybe it's a hard shell. Maybe it is a defense mechanism for going through so much, being on a public platform, having your ex-husband, having put things out there so publicly. I am certain that there's an element of Drew that feels like I have got to be hard. Not hard, but I gotta be tough on this show because this show can be tough on me and I'm already dealing with it from the man downstairs. So I would wonder if for Drew that's what's going on with her because when in this moment when she breaks it literally felt like the seal had been broken for a lot of the women on this show, and I loved this moment. I loved it so much. um Yeah, it was I'm glad that they ended the episode with this versus any of those moments at the restaurant because I do like when they show the fact that they can go from arguing with each other to like having moments of actual like sisterhood. My only issue is that at some point, I wish that ladies would have the same level of empathy for Shamia and the things that she's actually experiencing versus using those experiences against her. The way that Cynthia ran back to spill the tea about her to Angela, I just didn't get the sense that it was like, hey, Angela, look at what's happening with Shamia. You guys have a lot more in common than you know. And I really want you guys to patch things up. It really felt like, let me run over here and spill the tea because that's what she led with in the conversation. Okay. So I just wish that that same grace extended to Shamia, despite her flaws, despite the fact that Shamia is not perfect, despite the fact that Shamia sometimes sticks her foot in her mouth, and I feel like some people feel like Shamia doesn't always stick her chest out and own some of those things, but she does apologize. And when she apologized to Angela about her daughter, Angela did not apologize back. Nobody acknowledged Shamia's apology. So anytime she apologizes, it's like they overlook it, they dismiss it. Why is it? What does this woman have to do in order to be heard or seen or felt like an actual human on this show? That's all I want to know. By either the cast or the audience. Super chat from 321 Vania says, I really wish Portia and Phaedra brought up the phone call. I wish they would have brought it up too because it would have gave the rest of the ladies context as to like the fact that we've got the confirmation too that Angela was Angela maybe wasn't being as truthful as she was trying to claim she was. I mean, and it just looked like Angela was lying. That's what it looked like. We had another super chat in the building. I'm just scrolling towards it, y'all. Give me a second. If I missed your super chat, my apologies, y'all. I'm just searching real quick. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I see the one. There was another one I think I missed. Oh, here it is. Imagine if Shamia did what Angela did this episode. They would never let her live. They would not. They absolutely would not. And I swear to you, they would hold it against her till next year. Okay. But and I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between Angela and Shamia. What is the difference between Angela and Shamia that they would not say, Angela, that wasn't right, and you just basically told us all something that wasn't true that you invented out of your mouth. What's the difference there? What's the difference between the two women? Help me understand. I really want somebody to help me understand. I'm looking for the answers in the chat. Angela not only asked Shamia that, but she also said it. When they put Angela's lips over Portia's mouth, did you remember that part too? When because Portia said, you're not gonna get my reaction to this. And then they put Angela's mouth over Portia's, and she was saying she's like, because she's guilty. Angela even said it later. She says, no, I said Shamia effed George. She said it in the room. So I just feel like this was like I feel like I was being gaslit in this episode. I'm looking at the rest of the ladies, specifically Phaedra. You just came off this experience from Married to Medicine where they did this exact same thing to you. Not the exact same thing, but they've done it to you. You felt like they did you so dirty, you had to leave. And so now that it's happening to somebody else on your cast, you being one of the OG cast members, I would expect for either Cynthia or Phaedra, maybe not Phaedra, because Phaedra and Shamia, their history. But the person I think that I would have expected the most to have the most level head in this perspective probably would have been Cynthia. But I just felt like I lost a little bit of like respect for Cynthia's persona on this show, not in real life. Okay. Let me just make that distinction. I am very clear that there are two realities here. One is the reality of the world of the show, and then there's two, the real life reality that is really, really happening for these people. And they may not always be one and the same. Okay. Trust me, everybody that you see, the way they act on TV is not the way they act, is not always the way they act in real life. Some people they do, and some people they don't. Trust me when I tell you. This is why you see some housewives have issues because they are expecting the person that is in real life to be the same as they are on the show. So when you have that expectation, it creates a false reality because what's happening is then the new person comes in and they're expecting the person to be as real as they are off the show. But then they get on the show and in front of the cameras and their reality changes. So that's why I say that. So I don't know. This episode was crazy to me, and there was so much in it that I just felt like, man, like when I watched this episode twice, okay? Because I needed to really understand the looks between people. I had to go back to last week, the looks and the nods and the yeah. There's some tension between Kay and Shamia. Y'all already knew. Y'all already knew. That's wild to me. That's real wild to me. And I think again, the person I'm most disappointed in with that is Pinky. I'm just real. I'm just real. Like, yo, Pinky. Like, I was expecting like be more. I'ma always keep it real, right? That real like that be more energy. And what I got in this episode, well, you know, I'm gonna keep it show. That's what it felt like in this episode. It seems Shamia's issue stemmed from not treating the other women with care when she had Portia on camera. I feel that's why the fans don't have pity for her. I get what you're saying. It's grown stale. They all need to grow. Again, I feel like if that was their issue with her last year, okay, cool. But why does that extend to her and only her when there were issues that the other ladies had with Portia, but those issues are gone. They don't exist anymore. It's like they never even happened. But for Shamia, they're still mad. So I guess I'm just not. It doesn't make sense to me. And you are correct. It has grown stale. It is very stale at this point. Y'all don't like the girl. All right, cool. Like, but just don't invite her around. Like, and I get that it's a show, but at a certain point, like it just don't feel good. It really doesn't. There's no attempt to resolve it. Even when she apologizes, she can make a public apology video. She could do a YouTube video. She can apologize to the group, in the group, after the group, by herself, and it's never taken. Even when she apologized to K Michelle was still in her confessional dragging the girl. Okay, but in person, it was very much like, you have a big heart. But in your confessional, it was a totally different attitude. And the confessional is filmed after the scene. So tell me, what is the difference? What would she need to do? Would she need to give? Would people be happy if she gave her blood, her liver, her skin? Like, what is it? What would she need to do in order to be accepted by the group that is so much worse than what any of them have done? I don't get it. I don't get it. And because it seems like nobody on the cast cares, I feel like somebody's got to ask the questions like, what's going on? I don't know. Anyway, y'all. So that's the tea for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 13. I had a moment last night, just to give y'all some backstory. This past weekend, I had a travel conference, I think on Thursday. Friday, I ended up having to go to New Jersey to MC the Garden State Bar Association scholarship and awards gala. So Saturday, I didn't do any work because I was just trying to get in the zone of what was going to be a huge night for a lot of people. So I needed to be like set in my mind. Um, I'm going somewhere with this. So being in that space where you are around so many like high achieving like attorneys and judges and corporate sponsors and just like these are like heavily influential people, being in that mental space and then kind of going into this episode, it made me for like a split second think I can't watch this show no more. Right. I was almost at that point today where I was like, this ain't it. This ain't the vibe. This ain't the frequency. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep watching, mostly because I love chatting with y'all. But I did have that moment today where I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. Um, this is one of those episodes that definitely made me feel like that. With that being said, though, we're gonna press on. We are gonna press on. We are going to press all the way on. Um, as always, you guys, I have the link for our Faceless Content Blueprint. It is a full course that basically gives you everything that you need to start your own faceless content journey. It's in the link in the description down below. I will also place the link here in the chat in case anybody needs it. I give you everything, things that I've done. I take you behind the scenes of, my channel, that I've shown before on this channel. Actually, I did a 3 hour live one time where I walked you behind the scenes, but you will have access to that so you can see one of the channels that I started. It wasn't the original channel, but it's one of them I started in 2023, and I'll walk you through, what you need to know and what you need to do next and how you can make those videos. Also, you will see me make a video. Like, you will see me take the steps to make actually a couple of videos. So you will have examples for yourself to follow and templates as well. So tap into that if you need to. Otherwise, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next video.